ABC, it's Greeno. Well, it's time for an update. It's been like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks since I've done one. So it's typical, stuff's been laying around, and went out last weekend, found a few things, ended up pretty good, and one really good eBay thing. So kind of jump into it, and as you can see, fall is on the way. So it's a little chilly in here tonight. September is here. Alright, go ahead and kind of jump into it. Listening in the background, if you can even hear it, is first Black and Blue. Classic album. Alright, a couple books. I just finished the Stephen Pearcy book, singer from Rat. And if you dig Rat, it's worth reading. He was pretty typical drugs and all that. I'd never heard a lot about him like that, but evidently he was pretty hardcore. I found these last weekend. I think I'm going to start this one next. It's Capital Rock. This looks really cool. It's about the Washington, D.C. music scene, just the whole history. It's first 25 years, 1951 to 1976. So, in that area, Baltimore, D.C., so kind of learn some local history. And ran across this for like $10. I never grabbed this, kind of wanted to read it, and I've been in like a reading mood here lately. The Dirt, Motley Crue deal. And this is in the slipcase and still wrapped. Found it for $10, so I grabbed it. I'm not sure how much, like 30 new. I don't think I'd have paid that, but so these look pretty interesting. Kind of set a couple other things for this winter to read. Alright, go ahead and start off. Had a killer score on eBay. I think the last update or update before, I showed Flatbacker, a Japanese metal band that ended up being EZO. I found one of their albums off this guy, so I checked him again, and he had some more Japanese stuff, so I scored 4 off of him. The first one is, if I pronounce this right, Sakima 2. It's actually pronounced Sakamatsu, I think, is what I read online. And these guys were active 83, 84. And the name actually means end of the century. So their whole deal was they were going to break up 1999, the last day, last second of the year. And that's what they did. Put out, I don't know, 5-6 albums or something, but then of course they've gotten back together like in 2005, and they're still releasing stuff today. But these guys are pretty cool band, just like 80s metal, kind of that early Motley Crue, early 80s Priest, maybe a little pop kind of thrown in, but they wear the kabuki makeup. Definitely have that Kiss kind of look going on. Was reading about them, and of course, they're not fans of Kiss, just like Kingdom Come wasn't fans of Led Zeppelin. Whatever. But very cool band. Lots of stuff on YouTube about them. It's the insert. And I'd never heard of them. And it's kind of what I like about some of this Japanese stuff. It's like there was so much stuff that just never got out of Japan. Like this is all in Japanese. They actually, their last album they just put out like in 2010 was actually in English. It's the first one. But these guys were pretty massive there. Just never did anything else or did anything anywhere else. And here's another album by them. Cool cover. And It's just so odd, and I love Japanese metal. It's good music, even though it's in Japanese, man. You know, it doesn't bother me. But check them out. So, yeah, if you dig Japanese metal, never heard them, you know, check them out on YouTube. Like I say, there's a ton of stuff up on them. Really dug that. And I got two from another band called Reaction, which I'd never heard of either. And this is just more typical late 80s metal. Not really glammy, but kind of, you know, towards that MTV kind of metal, which you can kind of see in their image. And this was Reaction Agitator. But say if you've watched some of my videos, you know I got a thing for Japanese metal, so that was a huge score for me. Not cheap, but this stuff never pops up, and it was way cheaper than usual, so jumped on it. Alright, next up, I've had this for a while, and actually I still haven't opened it. Might pop it on tonight, but I figure I'll go ahead and show it here. Cinderella, Nobody's Fool Live. And this is one of those Cleopatra deals. Cover looks really nice. Sometimes, what is it, Deadline, Cleopatra, I think. They're kind of skimpy on the covers and all that. But this looks really good. I'm hoping it sounds good. I found these two over the weekend, last weekend. It's UK Imports, Queensryche, IMI, 12-inch single. It's kind of cool. It's like an envelope. I'm not going to open it all up, but it has it's gold disc, and it has two color prints, which is basically one of them is the same as this picture here, and then one of the band. So it's pretty cool. And then found a box set for Jet City Woman. It also has a couple live tracks on it from Donington. And this also has a giant poster, and when they say giant poster, that's what it is. It's huge, freaking humongous. And it's basically like a real far away shot of them live on stage. But it's kind of cool. And it's supposed to come with a laminate from the 91 Donington, but the laminate was missing. That's cool. Happy to have that. I found this, Bull La Volta. Actually had this on CD back in the day, and I can't remember exactly what these guys sounded like. I know it was late '89. So I ran into a big sale at the one store. They were having a Labor Day sale, and actually had one of those cards, punch cards. You know, some of the stores do. You fill it up, you get. That store gives you $20. So I had one of those full and a 20% off sale. So I grabbed a few things. I did Fill in a Hole, Uriah Heep. Is it Return to Fantasy? Cool cover. Didn't have a copy of this with the sale. I grabbed it. Ian Dury, New Boots and Panties. So, what was this? Like, they had it at 12, marked it down to 10, and with the 20% off, ended up getting it for 8, so I grabbed it. Now, this was just reissued, I think, on a little label. I was reading it in Goldmine magazine, I think. I found a Run Westy Run on SST. I remember these guys, I think there's something else by them. They were kind of that Americana a little bit, if I remember correctly. Maybe a little harder. I'd never seen this. I have a couple other albums by this band, Sad Cafe. It's Thanks to Ya. Guess that's right. Thanks to Rob. This looks definitely earlier. I have like 79, 80, 81 around in that area. This is 77. So, and I like the other couple albums I have, so check that out. Also have another album by these guys, Alcatraz, doing a Moonlight. And this isn't the same, you know, Yngwie, Steve Vai, Alcatraz, different 70s band, 76. The other album I have by him I really dig. So this is in great shape. On sale, I grabbed it. It's kind of cool. It's a Frontier Records compilation. It says E.I.E.I.O., Pontiac Brothers, Young Fresh Fellows, Thin White Rope, Circle Jerks. It's just a cheap comp, look kind of cool, from '88. The Cockney Rebel. Who's this? Let's see the year right offhand. Band I don't know a lot about, so it's cheap. I'll pick that up, give them a shot. I mean, I don't know what it is. Evidently, it's the summer of Hawkwind around here. Found another Hawkwind, Quark, Strangeness, and Charm. Never heard this. I'm thinking this is, it's like 77. Not one of their better covers. This, however, is a great cover. Lucifer's Friend, Mind Exploding. And these guys, of course, you know, their debut album is just a classic monster, 70s hard rock gem. After that, they're very spotty, so I'm not sure how this is going to be. Never heard it. I think they even did a Christian album at some point. Total Blind By here. Just look cool. The Disturbed, Totaled, Volvo. It's like an indie kind of deal from '87. Of course, you have punk. Another Blind By, Joanna, Spirit of Place. It was like 80 cents, you know, after the sale. So it's from '82 on Atco. This looked really cool. I love the cover. It's got a little bit of a wave to the cover, but the vinyl looks perfect. Man, Maximum Darkness. These guys are kind of proggy. Where are they from? Ireland, Scotland, something like that. But I have another album or two by these guys and I really dig them. But it's on sale. I grabbed it cheap. Alright, I gotta grab another stack. Alright, just a few more. So I turned into a long video. So sorry, kick back. This is brand new. Mount Carmel. I actually have another album by these guys and really dug it. I was talking to the guy at the shop when I found this there. And he's like, well, if you like that album, you'll like this one probably more. He said this is a better album, so I'll be spinning that soon. Couldn't leave this sitting there. Sealed copy, and it's promo stamped with What the Cat Dragged In by Poison, still sealed. So I had to grab that cheap. I've never seen this. It's definitely later. Pretenders, Pact. It's from 1990. So give that a shot. This I just showed in the last video. I was listening to it. Mother of God. Anthropos, I think. Anthropos. However you say it. Another small stone label release. This is a good stoner 70s hard rock, thrown in, which is the most stoner, I guess. But I really dug these guys. LA Guns, Ride on Sunset, this best of. I don't think I've shown this. Maybe. This is on Deadline, 2012. And this actually sounds really good. Like I said, Deadline, Cleopatra can be spotty here and there, but they did pretty well with the cover. And I think this has been, a lot of the stuff's been remixed and sounds really good. And it's on like a blue vinyl. Got this for like 50 cents, perfect shape. And this band's first couple albums are kind of looked over, it's like overlooked, whatever. Night Ranger, Dawn Patrol. So their first couple albums are just really good rock until they got into the Sister Christian ballad bullshit, which is good for what it is, but compared to this stuff, I mean, just a great album. Don't Tell Me You Love Me. Eddie's Coming Home Tonight. Young Girl in Love. Just yeah. They get tagged as being cheesy and all that, but man, their first couple albums are good. Fantastic shape. Had to grab this. Blue Murder. First album. Still in the Shrink. It's a good album. Same deal with this. This was like a couple bucks, and it's a gold stamp promo in perfect shape. Rough Cut wants you. Rough Cut were a great band. First two albums are just very cool. And actually reading that Stephen Pearcy book, I didn't know this Chris Hager, the guitar player, was in Mickey Rat, and they were like him and Pearcy started Mickey Rat together, which went on to be Rat. He left and ended up in Rough Cut. A couple of these dudes did something else. Paul Shortino ended up singing for Quiet Riot. A couple of these guys ended up in a 90s alternative band. What was the name of that band? That did real well. Can't remember now. Saw LJ show this. Pretty Poison. Catch Me While I'm Falling. Found it for a couple bucks. Picked it up. Total 80s. Total LJ. It's a good album though. Definitely enjoyed it. That'll be going in the 80s section. Really happy to come across this. Not the best album, but I've been kind of wanting to get all the stuff from this band, all the releases. It's the first Trapeze album. And of course Glenn Hughes, it's his band before he left here and went to Deep Purple. And this is very much more coming out of the 60s. This is like 1970, right around in there. And nothing like Medusa, which I think is the album right after this, which is just a killer 70s hard rock album. And also I think, what's his name? Dave Holland, is that right? Drummer, early drummer for Judas Priest, is in the band at this time. Man, they're all so young looking up. I'm not sure which is which. But never seen this. I grabbed it. Big fan of Buck Owens. But this is definitely cool. Buck Owens and the Buckaroos. It's a monster holiday. It's like I saw the cover and I was like, oh, that's cool. It's like one of those whatever sound, horror soundtrack, Halloween kind of albums. Flipped past it and I was like, oh, I said Buck Owens, hold on. So I went back and was like, wow, that looks really cool. So I grabbed it. It was like a couple bucks. I don't see the year, but I think it was like 72, right around in there, 73. But really cool stuff. Like It's a Monster's Holiday is a really cool song. And then they do on the cover of the Music City News, which is like a takeoff of on the cover of the Rolling Stone. But country version, I guess. But really cool. I was happy to find that. Speaking of Glenn Hughes, solo album, Play Me Out. It's like late 70s, 77. It's on, this is an import from Germany on Safari. This was a bit of a letdown. Just, it was okay. It's about the best I could say. Nothing great. Glad I got it cheap. This is a blind buy, and like I grabbed it because it looked kind of rare, which I think it is. Pearl. This is 1980, and it mentioned, or it has New York on the back here. I'm not sure if the band was from New York, but it's an EP, and it's very new wavy, early 80s. Very cool. You know, it's early new wave, and I believe it's signed by the singer Debbie Brandon up here, but I've never seen that before, and yeah, this looked really cool. Alright, I grabbed this, it's an Overkill Vids, and I'm totally sorry, blanking out on your username. But anyways, he showed this, he's been showing videos where he went on a trip down to Tennessee, I believe it was, and he grabbed this in a shop, talking about it. It looked really cool, and I found it in the shop, or my local shop, so I grabbed it. It's at the Butto's Band, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Newer funk band, and man, this is just killer. Love this. They actually had another album by them. I'm not sure if it was before this one or after, so if it's still there, next time I get it, I might try and grab it. But thanks for showing this, dude. Totally digging this. This looked really cool, and it's okay, but I expected more. The Bizarros, Welcome to Akron. This is actually an early punk band from Akron, Ohio, with Rubber City Rebels. Played with those guys a lot. These guys got signed, but they didn't get anything out till later. It was like 79, but they were around during the beginning. But it starts out pretty strong, and then kind of, yeah, time you get to the second side, it's just so-so. But it's early punk. Looks kind of cool. So I went ahead and grabbed it. Glad I did, you know. I like the history of it, so I'll hang on to it. Next is an EP from Toy Dolls Hindustan. It's Nelly the Elephant. These guys were UK punk. This actually has Nelly Elephant 1982 version. I think they were late 70s kind of deal, but don't know a lot about them. I guess they continued into the early 80s. And last, grabbed this for like 50 cents or something. Ended up loving this. Stampeders, Sweet City Woman. And most people know that song. I guess that was their hit, Sweet City Woman. It's on Bell. But, this is a good album. I just grabbed it because it was cheap and it looked cool. And I was kind of hoping it was like 70s rock. It didn't kind of sink in with the song. As soon as I heard the song, I was like, oh geez, I knew this. And I know it, and I listened to it about 5 times. Because it's a really good song. Alright, that's it. Like I said, I guess it was a bigger update than I thought it was going to be. did pretty well, I guess, last weekend, and I'm not sure what's going on this weekend. Just kind of probably chilling and getting caught up. I'm like overloaded right now with the packages that come in from LJ and Garner and stuff sitting around. So just want to say thanks to everybody that's subscribing. Just keep getting new subscribers all the time. Totally appreciate it. And everybody who comments, I always try and comment back. Trying to, man, it's just been so busy here lately, and I'm behind on watching videos. I'm trying to get caught up on that. You know how it is, blah blah blah, life. So, all right, thanks everybody for watching, and hope everybody has a great weekend.